The man command displays the manual pages or documentation for commands. Using man ls, we see different key sections like synopsis, which shows the syntax of the command, in which we have ls, option, and file. Description, which explains what ls does, as well as options, which lists various flags and options. And you exit the manual by pressing Q. Next is the top command, which is the task manager, and it displays the system processes and resource usage in real time. Here you can see the changing list of running processes. We have key columns like the %CPU, which is the CPU usage, the %mem, which is the memory usage, as well as time plus, which is how long the process has been running for, and command, which is the name of the process. This will help you understand the load on your system. We quit top by pressing Q. For a more user-friendly version of top with color-coded output, we can use htop. This makes reading process information much easier. Again, we can use Q to exit. To view disk space usage on mounted file systems, we use df. Notice how everything is presented in bytes. If we want a more human-readable form of gigabytes, we can use the H flag. The file system column is where the data is stored. The size is the total space. The used is the space in use. The available is the free space. And the use percent is the percentage used. And here's a tip on inodes. So inodes track files and directories on a disk, and when the inodes are full, you can't create new files even if there's free disk space, so this command is very helpful for system monitoring. To check inode usage, we can use df with the I flag, which shows the inodes, which are data structures that store file metadata. Since the IUse percentage is all around 1 to 2%, it means the mounted file systems have plenty of free space. We're not going to run out of disk space anytime soon. How about disk usage? The du command can provide us information on disk usage. It estimates the file and directory space usage. We use the H option in du so that it will display the sizes in an easily understandable way, for example, kilobytes, megabytes, and gigabytes instead of in bytes. However, when we use ls, we can see that we don't have any directories or files. Let's start by using the mkdir command to create a test directory and 2 nested subdirectories. mkdir with the p flag to create parent directories if they don't exist, testdir/subdir1 and testdir/subdir2. We use ls to check the status. We also want to ls into testdir to verify that subdir1 and 2 are created correctly. Here we can see that subdir1 and subdir2 have been created inside testdir. Now let's use the dd command to create files of specific sizes filled with zeros. We begin with the dd command, followed by specifying the input stream as a stream of zeros /dev/0. Then we set the output file path. Output file path is the test directory /file1.txt. The block size is 1 megabyte, and the count is set to 1 because we want a single block. As you can see, a 1 megabyte file has been written to test directory. Now let's create a 512 kilobyte file in subdir1. We start with the dd command, followed by the input stream of zeros, followed by the output file path, which is testdir/subdir1/file2.txt. The block size is 512 kilobytes, and the number of blocks is 1. This creates a 512 kilobyte file in subdir1 within testdir. Now let's create a 2 megabyte file in subdir2. We begin with the dd command, followed by the input as a stream of zeros. Then we define the output file path, testdir/subdir2/file3.txt. We specify the block size as 2 megabytes and the number of blocks as 1. Here we've created a 2 megabyte file in subdir2 within testdir. Now let's use du or disk usage to output each file and directory size in a readable format. Du with the H flag to make it human readable, and we pass in test directory. In the first column, we can see the size of the file or directory in a specified format of kilobytes, megabytes, as well as the path to the file or directory. Right now, we're only seeing directories. If we want to see files as well, we can use the A option. Du with the A and H options, followed by testdir. Now we can see all files and directories with their corresponding sizes. What if we want a summary of the total size of a directory? We can use the S option to get the summary of a size of a directory. Du with the S and H option for testdir. This is helpful for a quick overview of a folder's space usage without listing each subdirectory. The next command is find, which allows you to search for files. The command searches for files and directories based on specified criteria like name or type. Let's use find to locate .txt files. Find within the test directory based on the name of the wildcard character .txt. This lists all .txt files in the testdir and its subdirectories. Now let's use find to show only files, which excludes directories. find within the test directory the type of file and the name of star.txt. The command returns the same output as above, but guarantees that only files will be shown. Let's modify the directory structure to further emphasize directory exclusion. Let's create a directory with .txt in its name. We make a directory which creates parent directories if they do not exist, for test directory, with a nested subdirectory called file_pattern.txt. Now when we rerun the above command, we do not see the path to file_pattern.txt being displayed. However, when we remove the type file, we see that the path to the file_pattern.txt directory is being displayed. To show only directories, we use find within the test directory, the type of D for directory, and we want to match the name based on the regex of star.txt. Now we are correctly filtering based on the directory type.